Welcome to our third installment of Torah from Israel. We're so lucky to have Rabba Dr Anat Sharbat here with us. I can read Rabba Anat's bio, but I will just say that I have seen the magic of her teaching and her warmth and kindness and thoughtfulness because I had the privilege of living in Riverdale at the same time that she did, and getting to know her both as a student and then as a clergy member at the Hebrew Institute of Riverdale, which is where both Rav Ari worked and I went to shul as well. So it is such a treat to be able to learn from such a person who has such a brilliant combination of being a Talmidah Chachama and also someone who's really in tune with the emotional experience that we're going through right now. So we're so pleased to have you, Rabba Anat, and I'll turn it over to you.
Toda Rabba. Thank you so much. Thank you for inviting me and giving me a place and a space to share some Torah in those difficult days in Israel. I feel like Torah be'emet brings some nechama and sometimes even more. So the topic that I chose today will be a topic that brings some more than just nechama. As you all know, since the 7th of October, we lost at least, we don't know the numbers yet, but at least 239 captive Israeli civilians and soldiers in the Hamas. And this makes us very anxious and very sad and also afraid of what will happen to those people. I can tell that it splits the people in Israel of what should we do about those people, because we are in a war and it's a serious war. And from one hand, we want them back. And from the other hand, there is from the past, we know that there is a very heavy price, and sometimes the price put us all in danger again. So what we are going to do tonight or today in your place is just to go over Pidyon Shvuim, Mitzvat Pidyon Shvuim. I chose some sources that can teach us about this dilemma. I will just mention that last Parashat Shavua, we had Lot as a captive. And as the parasha described it, when she described Lot as a captive, she said, the parasha said, Katuv said, Ben Achiv shel Avraham. And then when Avraham, he was Avram by then, but when he wanted to release Lot, he did everything immediately. And the parasha describes Lot as Achiv. So we are all feel that our brothers and sisters are there, and we wish and pray and want them back here in our state, in their families, in our big family. I will also share that one of the things that I do here is Kabbalat Shabbat and Havdalah every week in the place of their families. I don't know who saw the big table. I know that also in Times Square there was a table, but it started here in Tel Aviv. Also in Rome there was a table of the number of the people that are missing, set for Shabbat. Beautiful table. And it just shows, you know, when you hear the number, it's not the same when you walk the table. It's a long table, and then you feel each one of them. I will also share something very personal, that two of the captives are, one is my friend, Vivian Silver, and one is my family, Idan Alexander Ben-Adi Yael. And I want to dedicate this shiur to that this limud Torah will bring them and all the chatufim beshalom habayita, and chayelei tzahal also will come back beshalom.
Amen.
So now we will start.
I just shared the link to the source sheet into the chat, but I can share my screen as well if you'd like, Anat. Yeah.
Yeah. Please, thank you.
Okay.
Okay. So I think that to make it a little, okay.
Oh, bigger. Yeah, sorry.
So the first thing that I want to share today is Rabbeinu Bachayei, who said something amazing about the first dibur in Aseret HaDibrot. Why, he asks, why Aseret HaDibrot starts with Anochi Hashem Elohecha Asher Hotzeticha Me'eretz Mitzrayim. The Dibra is not describing Anochi Hashem Elohecha Asher Barati et Hashamayim v'et haaretz. I created the heaven and earth, and I am your God. But it says about bringing out the nation of Israel out of Egypt. Why is this so important to describe this when Bnei Israel got their the 10 Commandments? And Rabbeinu Bachayei said, כי רצה להזכיר המצווה, והוא מצוות פדיון שבויים. Why? You asking? Because there is a mitzvah, mitzvat pidyon shvuim, like Hashem took Bnei Israel out of Egypt as captive, that Hashem pada. How do you say pidyon?
Redeemed.
Redeemed. That Hashem redeemed. של סמך ריבו יותר מן הפלא העצום של בריאת העולם, והוא יתברך ציוונו והלכת בדרכיו. So this is much more important than Hashem created the world. And what Rabbeinu Bachayei says is that this in Aseret HaDibrot says that we need to imitate this. If we have a captive, we have to redeem the captive. This is how much it's so important that it's hint into Aseret HaDibrot. Then we have Shut HaMa'arik. And Shut HaMa'arik says, אם יבוא הדבר לידי שהייה ודחי. Okay, so we need to redeem the captives, but how much do we need to be quick about it, or how much do we need to take the time and think about it, because it's very, very complicated, like in the issue of Israel, that we know that the Hamas want to have back terrorists and not money, so it's different. So Shut HaMa'arik, which the Shulchan Aruch after cites this, says, if I will read it in Hebrew and then I will translate it. אם יבוא הדבר לידי שהייה ודחי, עד אשר יעשו הציבור להוציא מעות אחרות, שהרי כפסע בינם ובין המוות, ועל כל רגע ורגע שמאחרים לפדותה, היכר דאפשר להקדים, הווה כאילו שופך דמים. Shuta Marik said, it's so important that you, if the person that is captive is alive, you have to do it as quick as possible, because every moment that you don't redeem the captive, it can be that the captive will end the life in the other side. It's not that the goyim captive Israelim just to have them captive. They wanted money, and the condition there is not the condition like being at home. It's a very frightening condition, and the redeeming of the captive, it's very, very important. And it needs to be now. It needs to be as soon as possible. I just want to let you know that the situation in Israel is that we are almost 4 weeks after October 7th, and some of the captives were redeemed, 5 of them, 2 redeemed 2 weeks after, or 3 weeks after, and then another 2 Israelis redeemed after, and then the Hamas, with a lot of help, international help, helped us to redeem 2 other, but we still and in the last week the Hamas didn't redeem, but Tzahal went into Gaza and redeemed another one. But we still have 239 and 40 missing. So we don't know if this is the last number of the captives in the Hamas. Okay, so now we will go to the Rambam. The Rambam usually gives us very dry halacha, not with a lot of emotions. And here the Rambam is exceptional. It's not the regular Rambam. Let's read it. I will read it in Hebrew. Is that okay? Or one of you want to read it in English? I don't care, whatever you want.
People can follow along on the English side, Rabba Anat.
Okay. Okay, so the Rambam says that פדיון שבויים קודם לפרנסת עניים. So it's part of mitzvat tzedakah. We saw it also in Rabbeinu B'chayei. It's part of mitzvat tzedakah. And פדיון שבויים, redeeming the captives, it's before parnasat aniyim. So if we have a family that doesn't have enough food and we have a captive, we need to redeem the captive first. ולכסותן, ואין לך מצווה גדולה כפדיון שבויים. The Rambam says this is a huge mitzvah. אין לך מצווה גדולה. This is the most biggest mitzvah that we can ever talk about. שהשבוי הרי הוא בכלל הרעבים והצמאים. And why? Because the captive is also like ani. It's like someone who is thirsty and hungry and has no clothes, because he cannot do anything for himself. He rely on the people that took him into the captive. ועומד בסכנת נפשות, and also he might be killed. והמעלים עיניו מפדיונו, הרי זה עובר על, שימו לב, pay attention. The Rambam says that whoever do not redeem the captives make a big mistake, because there is a lot of mitzvot that he doesn't do. For example, לא תאמץ אל לבבך ולא תקפוץ את ידך ולא תעמוד על דם רעך ולא ירדנו בפרך לעיניך, וביטל מצוות פתוח תפתוח את ידיך לו, ומצוות וחי אחיך עמך, ואהבת לרעך כמוך. Look how many מצוות, עשה ולא תעשה. Some of them are deoraita. והצל לקוחים למות, והרבה דברים כאלו. And this is only part of the list that the one that did not redeem the captive is עובר על המצוות האלה. And again, ואין לך מצווה רבה כפדיון שבויים. And then the Rambam goes to another mitzvah that usually we are very careful about it, building a shul. When we set aside money to build a shul, we can transfer the money to another mitzvah if we didn't buy the things that we are going to build the shul with. But once we bought the things, we cannot transfer this mitzvah to anything else. We have to use those things to build the shul. So pay attention what the Rambam says. אנשי העיר שגבו מעות לבניין בית כנסת, ובא להם דבר מצווה, מוציאים בו המעות, קנו אבנים. We can switch. Right? If we have another mitzvah and we set aside money to build a shul, so we can switch, it's fine. קנו אבנים וקורות, but once they bought the stones and the
beams
to build the shul, they cannot, לא ימכרום לדבר מצווה, אלא לפדיון שבויים. They cannot switch with any mitzvah, but they can switch with one mitzvah, pidyon shvuim. Look how important this mitzvah is. אף על פי שהביאו אבנים וגדרום ואת הקורות ופסלום, even if they started already doing the preparation to build, והתקינו הכל לבניין, מוכרים הכל, they sell everything, לפדיון שבויים בלבד. אבל אם בנו וגמרו, לא ימכרו את בית הכנסת, אלא יגבו לפדיונן מן הציבור. But if they build already, then they will not be able to sell the shul to, they need to fundraise again. Okay. In Masechet Gittin, there is a Mishnah that talks about the details. Okay, now we understand that Pidyon Shvuim, redeeming the captives, is a very, very important mitzvah. But let's deep in the details. So the Mishnah says that אין פודים את השבויים יתר על כדי דמיהן מפני תיקון עולם. So the Mishnah is saying we need to redeem the captives, but we have limits. What are the limits? We don't pay everything for a captive or for captives. We have to pay what usually people pay. This is my translation already because I needed to say it in English. But there is a limit of Pidyon Shvuim. Even though it's such a mitzvah gdola, we don't do it anyway, okay? And why? Why we do this limit? Mipnei tikun olam. So I want to pause and ask you, what do you think about it? How do you feel about it? Very briefly, only maybe we will take one answer. Okay, so I will say, Tikkun Olam is something that we need to keep the world metukan. We need to keep the world in a way that it's not in balance. For example, I will give an example. If we will say, I don't know if you remember, but Gilad Shalit, everyone familiar with this name? I remember I was in New York when he was redeemed. Gilad Shalit redeemed for 1,030 and 23, I think this is the number, 23 terrorists that were in Israel, and we gave them those numbers of terrorists, and they gave us Gilad Shalit. Is this tikkun olam? Is this kedei demehen? Is this the price that we need to pay? Now we have 239. How many terrorists should we give? So the Mishnah the Mishnah understands that it's a problem, and this is why it says what it says. So let's read the Gemara to understand more. Iba elehu, hai mipnei tikun olam, mishum duchka de tzibura. Why we have this tikun olam? Because we don't want to put a burden on the shoulders of the community that they will raise. Back then, it was raising money to bring back to redeem that captive. So this is one way of putting a limit. And the other limit, or Dilma, mishum delo ligravu veleitu tfei. This is the second limit, that those people that capture the captives will not do it as often. So we will always find ourselves trying to redeem, and they will keep this cycle, like we actually see that it's happened. And then the Mishnah says, the Gemara says, Tashma, bar darga parka levartel. Betlesar, tlesar alfei dinarei zahav, bar darga redeemed his daughter for this and this dollars, let's say. Okay, this is something that someone did for his daughter. So it's not duchka de tzibura, right? It's not on the shoulders of the community. They don't have to raise money. He did it. He paid. Let's move up.
Down or up?
Oh, okay. So the Gemara said that maybe when someone redeemed himself, like he did it for his daughter, maybe then it's not a duchka de tzibura, and maybe in this case it's okay, and it put aside the limit of duchka de tzibura. So let's say that I always will try to take it back to our situation right now. Let's say that the families raise money and offer the Hamas the money, and then want the captives back. Is that enough? Is that okay? Can we allow this? Let's continue. Okay, so the Rambam in another place says, "En podim et hashvuim beyeter al demehen." This is the Mishnah, right? מפני תיקון עולם, שלא יהיו האויבים רודפים אחריהם לשבותם, ואין מבריחים את השבויים מפני תיקון העולם, שלא יהיו האויבים מכבידים עליהם את העול ומרבים בשמירתם. So we talked about it, and we said that we don't want this cycle, that people will be taken, and then the price will be higher and higher, and this is the tikkun olam. And we will continue now to Gitin Nun Chet. Tanu Rabbanan. מעשה ברבי יהושע בן חנניה, שהלך לכרך גדול. So just remember in your mind, what are the two limits? We said דוחקא דציבורא, and we said that they will not redo it, okay? So now the Gemara brings Agadita of someone who redeemed the Shavui, and we will see. תנו רבנן, מעשה ברבי יהושע בן חנניה, שהלך לכרך גדול שברומי. אמרו לו, תינוק אחד יש בבית האסורים, יפה עיניים וטוב רואי, וקבוצותיו סדורות לו טלטלים. הלך ועמד על פתח בית האסורים. From this description, we can understand that this baby or this little child is not suffering, right? Because he has bright eyes and he looks good, and his hair is healthy. So when someone is in a place of sorrow, usually you can see it in his eyes. But in this case, they took care of this child. And even though הלך ועמד על פתח בית האסורים, Rabbi Yoshua went to Petach Bet HaAsurim, to the place that they keep the baby there, and אמר, מי נתן למשיסה יעקב וישראל לבוזזים? He started a pasuk, and the toddler or the child answered, ענה אותו תינוק, ואמר לו, הלא השם זוכתנו לו, ולא אבו בדרכיו. ולא אבו בדרכיו הלוך, ולא שמעו בתורתו. So Rabbi Yoshua saw that this child knows Torah. אמר רבי יהושע, מבטחני בו שמורה הוראה בישראל. He was so impressed by the child that he said he will grow up to be gadol. He will grow up to be a teacher in Israel, maybe in a morah, who knows. And then he said, ha'avodah, I swear, שאיני זז מכאן עד שאפדנו, בכל ממון. בכל ממון? In any price? We just learned that we have a limit. שפוסקים עליו. אמרו, לא זז משם עד שפדאו בממון הרבה, ולא היו, and he really redeemed him in a very high price, higher than what is needed, בממון הרבה, כן? ולא היו ימים מועטים עד שהורה הוראה בישראל, ומנו רבי ישמעאל בן אלישע. So who is it? Rabbi Ishmael, the little child, was grow up to be Rabbi Ishmael ben Elisha. So what we see, yes?
I wonder, Rabba, if you could say something maybe about, it seems like there's some ordering of hostages, right? Hostages that grow up to be great rabbis seem to be more valuable. Do you think that's what the Gemara is trying to say, or do you think that?
Yes.
So
And
this
is my next
okay, sorry, go ahead.
sentence. It's good that you raised it, because it is this is what it is. The Gemara brings us another limit. So who can we redeem with more than the price? Talmid Chacham. Okay.
Or
so this child, what?
A potential Talmid Chacham.
Exactly. Even a potential of Talmid Chacham. So let's say that we have an apartment or a house in one place, and we have the same exactly house in the same place. So it's the same price, but this has a potential to build more, another floor, and the other one doesn't have this potential. So what will be higher in the price? The one that has that potential, right? So we pay for potential, and we pay for potential also of Talmidei Chachamim, which is amazing to see. Okay.
I'm sorry, can I just ask one more question? I think that's such an interesting take. I will admit that I thought that it was sort of yucky to pay more for a Talmid Chacham, right? Isn't everyone's life valuable? Why would we pay more? Like to me, it showed the hands of the rabbis of the Gemara that they were willing, that was more valuable to them. I felt kind of sad by it. I don't know how other people felt.
Can someone share their feelings about it? So I will tell you that, oh, Rav Ari, how are you? So good to see you.
Can I say?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. My name's Adrian. The thing that immediately jumps out to me is women, because especially during the times of the Gemara, we had no chance of being a Talmidah Chachama. So, but that's just one example, right? I mean, what about poor people? What about, and I don't know. Then again, I feel like, yeah, if people were getting kidnapped left and right every day, I guess we have to put our, I guess, I don't know. Agreed. It is yucky.
I just want to say that any feelings is valid, and I didn't think about women, and I agree with you, Adrian. And thank you for raising this. Back then, the value of a woman life was less, and we know it not only from here. So I don't know about, it's not true about the being captive, because I think that there, and I didn't search for it, but I know that women, when they are captive, there are some halachot that they need to be redeemed first, because they being in danger, not only to not have clothes and not giving food and not giving water, but also to be raped. So I think that this is something that Chachamim understood. But yes, I understand that. I think if I will try to say something to understand why they prefer Talmidei Chachamim, so I can say that they see it as ma'amidim talmidim arbe, that it's kind of giving birth for other talmidim. So it's not that you redeem only one nefesh and you save only one nefesh, you save much more. And this is the potential of being a Talmid Chacham, and the potential of being a Talmid Chacham. So this is something that might be falling under this idea.
There's so one more idea, and I know, and then I'll be quiet.
Yes.
The thing that I thought also is, like, when we think about Rabbi Akiva, there are maybe the notion that we never know who can be a Talmid Chacham. Like when we look at a child, maybe it's this idea that every single person can be a Talmid Chacham at any time in their life. And maybe that's what they're saying, maybe.
Oh, this is so beautiful. Thank you. This is beautiful. I will say something about what's going on today in that way. So in the beginning, we got released to American citizens. So it was an idea to make all the captives double citizens and not only Israel citizens. And I will say that today, it's going in that line of who to prefer. So Germany said that that Germany is today pass a law that whoever wants to be a Germany citizen in Israel can do it. And maybe it's continuing this idea of giving all the captives another citizenship, so other states will help to put pressure to redeem their own citizens. So this is kind of thinking of how to redeem people. Okay, so we will continue. Yeah. So we will go to the Ritbaz that that also ask the same question. So what is פודים את השבויים יותר שלא פודים את השבויים יותר מכדי דמיהן, that we pay the שבויים, we pay for to redeem a payment that that will be the value of the shvuim. So what is this value? So the Radbaz, going back to Durka de Tzibura. So I will read the question first. ממני הודיעך דעתי על דתנן אין פודים את השבויים יותר מכדי דמיהן, אי הווה דמיהן. How much is the price? This is the question. So what is the price of a captive? כעבד הנמכר בשוק, it's like a slave, או הבד מהן כמו שנמכרים השבויים, אקום, or maybe it's like the captives in the goyim, in the non-Jews. And the Radbaz bring a full answer, and then at the end of the answer, which is important to me, so we need to like take it a little bit up here. ואף על פי שיש לבעל הדין לומר על כל התנאים הללו, על כל התנאים הללו, אומר הטענה, אין פודים את השבויים יותר מכדי דמיהן, מכל מקום יש לדחות דדילמה לאו איירי הטענה בשבויים דאית בהו כל הני דאמרן, וכיוון שהדבר ספק, הנח להם לישראל. So what the Radbaz says is that we see that even though it's Durka de Tzibura, it's hard on the community, and even though there are other things that happen, we see that more than one case, it's something that happened and again and again and again, that the Jewish people redeemed their captives for higher price than usually. So the Radbaz says, הנח להם לישראל. It's okay, because ותו שאין כופים אותם, אלא הם בעצמם מתנדבים. It's not דורקה דציבורה, they want to do it. ויפה נהגו להחזיק במידת אברהם אבינו עליו השלום, דכתיב נדיבי עמים עם אלוהי אברהם. So it's the Radbaz doesn't pay attention to the Mishnah so much. The Radbaz is okay with redeeming with a higher price because it happens. This is life, the Radbaz says, and if this is life, just let it go. And each one of the communities will decide what they decide. We cannot have rules as a thumb rule to everyone, but each one of us will do whatever they feel. We will continue.
I think there was a question, Rabba Anat.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't see.
That's okay. Go ahead, Barry.
I have a problem with this because in this case, example, the kidnappers are after money and they're going to spend the money on themselves. In the case that we're actually dealing with, we're dealing with a terrorist organization who's going to use this money for more terror. So I don't think it's an equivalent situation. We have to look beyond the mere fact of what they're giving and what the people that we're giving it to is going to do with that.
Nachon, and this is exactly the questions. It's not a money question at all. It's terrorists that put us in danger, and we will.
Am I going to get 200 lives back and lose 1,000?
So I hear, Barry, right? This is your name.
Yes.
That if you were the one that supposed to decide, you would say, no, I will continue our war. And at the end of the war, we will see what's going on, if we at all want to pay that price. For sure, not
necessarily.
Not
I
necessarily.
think this is subject to negotiations. You're making an extreme case. There's a middle ground here. Do I want to give 1,000 prisoners back for 200? I don't think so.
So you're talking about
I give a few, but I want the 230 back, because I'm not the one that's doing wrong. They are. I have to stand on the moral ground. So I have to demand more from them that they're willing to give. That's a position also. It's not just either one. It's too easy to think with the heart and not the head.
So I will tell you, Barry, that your voice is a voice that is that we hear from people that are in the army, that talks about it. They talks exactly like what you said, and it's a voice in Israel. It is a voice.
My personal view, it's a voice of reason. I think when we traded the for 1,000 prisoners for one was a huge mistake. I thought it then, and I think it now. I think it encourages this.
I just want to add a layer, Barry. I'm not sure you were here when Rabba Anat said that her family member is one of the hostages.
Yes, I heard her friend. I did. And that's from the heart. She's thinking from the heart. There's 100%. No question in my mind. That's definitely coloring her thinking. I said that. It's thinking from the heart. I understand that. If it was my family there, I would maybe think different. But I'm thinking for the good of Israel.
I will tell you that most of the people in Israel are thinking from the heart. We are rally and we are there with the families, and it's okay. But I will tell you that I am a member in an organization of rabbis that is called Bet Hillel, and we are split there also. Some of the rabbis are not signing any of the atzumot. How do you say it? Any of the petitions? Yeah, this is how of saying redeem everyone, because of what you're saying, because they don't think that we need to pay such a price, because it dangers. Right.
I think that's why the army is saying what they're saying, because they have to send the troops in to go get them. And that's just would encourage a terrible cycle. Eventually, you're going to have to pay the price. The question is, when do you pay it?
So I just want to say
thinking from the heart and the thinking from the head both have to be considered. You can't ignore one and just do one and not the other. They both have to be considered.
Okay, so I will push back But with this, we will we can continue after. I will just push back to say that we are following history by saying that, because it's still a potential. It's not that we are killing for bringing back or redeem. We are giving terrorists that might, this is a potential, that might do a terror attack, okay? So
That's wrong. We already know what the terrorists
but
did
this is
that
the
we
past.
released before.
That's true. This is the
Yeah,
past.
so we know they went back and did more terror.
Barry, I'm going to jump in for a moment. This is a forum to hear voices from Israel who are going through this. And this is not a time for lecturing them. This is a time to listen and to absorb, and we can agree or disagree, but we are here to listen. We're here to listen right now.
So thank you so much for the voice, and thank you for Rav Ari. I'll continue with the Tosfot that will say what Barry just said. It's number 8. Thank you. כל ממון שפוסקים עליו. This is about the how much, and the Tosfot says כי איכה סכנת נפשות פודים שבויים יותר מכדי דמיהן. So we see that what Barry said is the opposite, is that we have to think about the community or Israel. But here the Tosfot says, if there is a sakanat nefashot of the captives, we pay more. Podim shvuim yoter mikdei demehen, yoter al kdei demehen. And also about what we saw with the little child, inami mishum demuflag bechokma. This is what Yael mentioned before. So the Tosfot adds 2 siyagim. When do we pay more? Whenever there is sakanat nefashot, so we pay more. And whenever we see a Talmid Chacham. And I have, okay. Now we will go to the Aruch HaShulchan. And that also asks the question about שיעור דמיהן, ושיעור כדי דמיהן לא ידענו כמה. So how much is it? וכשיש סכנת נפשות, יש אומרים שפודים יתר מכדי דמיהן, ויש מגמגמין. So the Aruch HaShulchan brings both sides. When there is סכנת נפשות, so סכנת נפשות to the captives that are there. But what is yesh megamgemin? Yesh megamgemin is exactly that if we will pay more, we might be in a situation that there will be a sakanat nefashot to the other side, to Medinat Israel. And it's a problem, it's a question, it's a dilemma, it's a deep dilemma, and it's not an easy pitaron for this. We will continue. Arav Shaul Israeli tried to answer this question as well, and he said that כיוון שאלה חיילינו יצאו למלחמה בשליחות המדינה ומטעמה. And so the Arav Shaul Israeli talks about the captives, and he says they are our soldiers, our soldier of Israel. It's part of Israel. We send them. So it's like being the parents of these soldiers. It's not that they are what they are, and we are now have the privilege to ask, how do we want to look at it? Are they Talmidei Chachamim? Are they that? No, it's our children. So we learned already that if they are our children, we pay whatever they will ask, right? להגנת העם היושב בציון, הרי קיימת ועומדת, and also the civilians, we treat this situation like they are soldiers. הרי קיימת ועומדת התחייבות בלתי כתובה, אבל מובנת מאליה, שכל תצדקי אמצעים, שיש בידי המדינה עליה לעשות. We need to do everything, all what the states can do, the state needs to do. בגבולות סבירים שאינן פוגעים בביטחונה הכללי. This is what Barry said, that we need limits, that the limits are that it will not danger the people that are in Israel, כדי לפדותם במקרה שיפלו בשבי. וכשם שקיימת התחייבות במקרה של היפגעם חס ושלום במלחמה, הן לא נופל מזה החיוב לנקוט כל פעולה שהיא לשם הוצאתם מן השבי, דכולו איתנו בה. So we need to do everything, but we need to remember that we don't want to danger Israel. וכיוון שמה שהמדינה יכולה לעשות בזה הוא מכוח החיוב שקיבלה על עצמה תמורת השירות שלהם, הרי אין זה אלא כאילו הם פודים את עצמם. So it's like the soldiers will pay for themselves, and if one will pay for themselves, they can pay whatever. כמבואר לעיל, לא קיימת שום הגבלה ולא שייך בזה התקנה שאין פודים את השבויים יותר על דמיהם. So this is what the Rav Shaul Israeli say. The Rav said that we need to pay whatever, but the Rav didn't talk about mechablim, terrorists, for the people that we need to redeem. But we know, this is the last one that I have. Yeah, right, Ken. So we know that Rav Ovadia Yosef talked about it in Yabia Omer, and Rav Ovadia agree with that position, that we do everything, even though mechablim, terrorists, that we will send them to get our captives back. And also Harav Eliashiv has the same tshuva. They both supports giving back terrorists. There is a very famous story about the Maharam Rothenburg, and I will finish with this. I see that Yael is nodding, maybe you know. The Maharam Rothenburg was a captive, and the Maharam Rothenburg, it was a 13th century, said that he will not redeem himself, and nobody will redeem him, even though he was a Talmid Chacham. And at the end, he was died in the captive, and someone redeemed his body. But what I want to say about it is, even though he could redeem himself, and the community wanted to redeem him, and he didn't want to, because he didn't want to, he said that if it's not kedei demehen, there is no chance that he will be redeemed. It's an extreme situation of someone who will take care as a leader of being an example, a role model. And I have no answer to this dilemma. I just can share that tomorrow we will go and daven again with the families there. And I hope that we will not be that we will not have to, and that until tomorrow everything, all of them will be back home. But until they will come home, it's a dilemma, and we are praying for them.
Rabba Anat, thank you for sharing. I saw at the beginning that there was a request for the names of your friend and your family members, so that we may add it to our own tefillot list. So do you want to say them again? I'll put them in the chat.
Yeah. So the soldier is an American Chayal Boded. His name is Idan Alexander Ben Adi Ve'Yael. And my friend is Vivian Vivian
Silberberg, you said?
Silber. She's 73, I think. She was a peacemaker. All her life was devoted to make peace, and she was captive,
Captured.
captured on that Shabbat.
Nat, thank you for sharing such in-depth Torah sources and also such an honest and transparent state of your own feelings and loss right now. So we are davening that they should be returned to you and to us. And thank you again for sharing such beautiful Torah.
And thank
And a
you
reminder-
for all of
and
you. Just I know how much you do to us, and I just want to really, I'm talking in the name of all my people here in Israel. Thank you so much for everything you do to us. We feel it and we appreciate it very, very much.
And I want to, on that vein, I want to highlight that today at 4, they're setting up an empty table, like it's been doing all over the world in Skokie, and that's at the Sculpture Garden, just north of Howard. It's at 4 p.m. today, and that'll actually be up all weekend. So
They
you can
changed it,
go
Rav Ari, to south of Howard, just south of Howard. It was changed this
Okay,
afternoon.
cool. And also on Sunday at Torah, there's going to be they're putting out strollers, 30 strollers for the children who are hostage, and there's also going to be a press conference and a vigil there. So we need to keep focused on these hostages and pray and do whatever we can to bring them home.
Amen.
And thank you, Rabbi Anat. It's really
Thank you so
very
much.
heartening to see you and to learn from you.
Itchem, we are with you.
תודה רבה, ממש, תודה רבה.
With that,